Hi, welcome to A1R Radio Network. I'm Anna Olsen with my segment this week, every Tuesday, 1:30 Pacific Standard Time, 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. I am Anna Olsen with Anna Olsen Intuitive Services. I do readings, life coaching to teach intuition and to reach goals using the power and the art of the law of attraction. I am also a energy life path reader, and I can do just about any type of reading that you need. Tarot, oracle, medium reading. I pretty much do it all. So just want to put that out there. You can reach me on Facebook at Anna Olsen Intuitive. You can also reach me on Instagram at Tiny Medium Queendom. So today I am going to talk a little bit about what we do as readers and why. So I just wanted to go into my background a little bit, that I was raised very, very, I guess you could call it like really conservative Christian. And I was always told or taught going to private school, Christian school, and then, going through different Christian churches, that anytime you mess with the tarot deck or anytime that you're dealing with a medium, you can get into trouble, and that it's bad and that it's evil. And I even know one religion compared readers to like murderers and things like that. So I've pretty much heard it all. And it's funny to me because, we're getting into the universal consciousness now where people can be themselves and not be ostracized or condemned for it, which I really, really admire about, social media and people kind of getting out there and like educating others just from like their opinions and their life experiences and things like that. So I have noticed that as I have been taught by people who have done this for a lot longer than I have, that this is a sort of like an extrasensory ability. This is a life path. This is a way to serve others and to go into somebody's energy to really help them to have a more productive, better life, to heal from a lot of their pain, and to guide them through things that a regular counselor or whatnot wouldn't be able to help them through or really guide them as accurately. So as I've gotten older and I've studied this art a lot more and these extrasensory abilities, and realized that I was always a medium. This isn't something that I tried to do. This is something that I have always done. It's like having a specific culture or race, or, it's just who I am. And when others say things to a medium like you're, evil, or I've heard it all pretty much, but or you're dealing with the dark side, what I would say to them is that, anybody can deal with the dark side or with evil or with negativity at any time. And that goes for any race, religion, creed, nationality. It doesn't matter where you're from or what it is, what you do that really is of service to others. You can find a dark black sheep wolf in sheep's clothing is what I meant. Anywhere you go. And you can also find people who wish to do harm anywhere you go. And you can't just say, that's like looking at somebody who's a specific religion or is from a specific culture and saying they're all evil or bad. Now, we know that's impossible. So we have to look at this in a very mature way and realize that it doesn't matter who you're dealing with, whether they be a pastor, a priest, a bishop, a reader, a medium. There always has to be the understanding that it doesn't matter what they claim to do or who they claim to be, that there is always the possibility that they do not align with the highest and greater good. And although most healers and most people in these professions are good, sometimes you get the 2 to 10%ers that are really, really bad. And they use that as a cloak or a a costume, like the wolf in sheep's clothing, to betray, use, and deceive others, and sometimes even steal from them. So usually, what I really tell people about this is, if you're feeling pressured, if you're feeling desperate, or when you come to a reader, or anybody for that matter, if they're asking for more money, if they're like saying, something like, oh, I can heal you, but you're going to need to pay me $8,000 and come back 3 times or something, you need to really be careful about how you're feeling. Do you feel tense? Do you feel like this isn't such a good idea? Do you feel like this is something that doesn't feel quite right? It's really something for you to understand that this is a time, if this happens, to really gauge your own, understanding of your own intuition. What does your intuition say? What is it that your guides are telling you to do? How does your gut feel? Can you just tell them that you'll come back if you feel comfortable? Here, I'll get your information, and if I, decide to do it, then I will. And go think about it. So when you are anywhere, it could be with somebody at work and you feel uncomfortable with them, or you're doing volunteer work and you feel uncomfortable with somebody else. Listen to your gut and remember that most people are good and most people are out for your best interest. However, there are those small percentage of people who are bad. And so I want to just reiterate that this happens in every single spiritual practice. And this is why we have these really elaborate cult leaders who tend to be sociopaths and narcissists, toxic people, even people who are just unaware of how they're actually affecting others. And they create these masses of people who are really just desperate and working for them, and they take advantage of them. And so, it's really important for everybody to come in as a skeptic, and it's also important for everybody to, first and foremost, protect themselves and not give to somebody else more than they can actually afford to give. If you're not actually gaining something spiritually, life lessons, or feeling better when you come out, if you're not going into something like a volunteer work or going into a meeting with a spiritual leader or a reader or what have you, and coming out feeling 100 times better, there's something wrong. That you should feel better. You should feel more light. You should feel like you've had some healing done, that when you shared with that person that you were safe. And even then, I would even ask the person about, is everything confidential? Do they have the understanding of complete confidentiality, and how confidential is it? So these are all just a few tips. If you're ever going to get a reading, or you're ever going to work with anybody who delves into anything spiritual, they should be in a nice, high, positive level. They should be aligned with the highest and greater good. And of course, everybody has typical life things that happen. And everybody has hard days. So even if the reader, let's say, needs to reschedule because there's something going on that day, there has to be some preparation and realigning and kind of having a circle of protection and highest and greater good, and a nice high vibe no matter what's happening in their life. And usually when you have a reader or somebody who does this sort of work, there shouldn't be an aspect of them leaning on you. There shouldn't be an aspect of you having to put up with any sort of toxic behavior that really takes from your well-being or exhausts you or makes you feel extremely heavy, or like now you're going to go get a migraine. It should be higher, lighter vibe. So I'm going to take a caller today. I'd like to do a reading now. I'm going to do a tarot reading today. And I have Ashley from Rhode Island on the line. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
Good to hear. So what would you like to focus on today?
Maybe just a love relationship reading. General reading.
Yeah, and do you have a specific question about love?
Just that maybe any guidance, or
Okay.
if you see anything, or if any of my spirit guides have anything to say that I should focus more on.
Okay. Yeah, first of all, I'm getting, maybe even from the past, or maybe the present as well, I'm getting that there has been a feeling. What I'm getting is the Eight of Swords, and that can depict a sort of feeling either trapped or really feeling, I wouldn't even say totally trapped. It could mean trapped, and it could also mean kind of in bondage. You're not really sure what to do or what choice to make. Does that sound accurate to you?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And so what I'm hearing from Spirit is to take back your power. And what's interesting is that I'm getting that this is a time for you to develop an immense amount of strength. Now, the vibe that I'm getting from your reading and from your spirit guides is that there has been a challenge for you with your relationships to really have to, I don't know if it's like a have to, but it's basically you've had to deal with some really strong personalities with your significant other in your relationships.
Yeah.
And you've really had, it's almost like what they say, taming the lion, where you've had to really kind of, I don't even know if it's like tiptoeing around this person or if it's just having to navigate their very strong personality. Or if you maybe have had some toxic relationships in the past or even currently.
Yeah, I would say that.
Okay. So what Spirit is asking you to do is to gain a whole lot of really strong personal power from this situation. So when we're talking about somebody who has to deal with a very toxic personality in a relationship, or we're having to deal with somebody who is dealing with, somebody who isn't always accounting for their feelings. What we like to turn that into is all these strengths that you can gain from this, and a way that you can gain your independence entirely from that sort of angle, so that the next relationship you go into, or even the relationship you're in now, that there's a new dynamic of you owning your power and never having to, it's not even like dependence. It's more like you having to navigate around the strong personality. And really, what I'd like to move your relationship dynamic to instead would be more of a relationship of mutual respect, two-way road where it's like you're giving and receiving. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes, it does.
So tell me about this dynamic. Is there a dynamic where you have had to make big decisions because somebody is not respecting your boundaries, or?
Yes, a few different boundaries that they have not respected. Yes.
Yeah. And so one way that you can deal with what Spirit's telling me is one way you can get back your personal power is to write it down, if that helps you to just have something to refer to. But you can write down a framework of what you are and are not comfortable with and exactly what you need. And to stick to that. And if whoever you're with is not respecting that you give them a nice gentle reminder and then you act.
Okay.
And so and I think that even if it means you have to tell the person that you're not going to do this anymore, you need to move on, that you just stick with these boundaries, and then you can really find a new person, if you so choose, to really stick to this new framework of all of your needs, all of your boundaries, and go ahead and go into detail. And also know that you're not going to find somebody who fits exactly, but just to kind of get this nice, broad description of all the things that you need and want in a relationship, even how it feels when you're in a relationship. It should feel warm, loving, safe. I feel like the security and the safeness emotionally is the main dynamic that you've had to struggle with in the past.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I constantly say that.
Yeah. And so this is about really understanding that if you are at any time feeling unsafe or emotionally like you can't depend or trust this person, you're not feeling totally safe with that person, that is a red flag. Something needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to like if you're driving down the road and a bridge is out, you have to repair the bridge before you can continue. This is what it needs to be treated as. So whoever you're with needs to know that you're not going to move on and pretend like everything's okay when you're not feeling safe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the trust is the biggest thing that we struggle with.
Right. And I do think that he can really make you happy. I do think he can make you feel safe, but he needs the details on what you need that will help you to feel secure and safe with him.
Yeah,
and it has to be clear that if he doesn't follow it, that you're not going to continue until it's either reestablished, the safety and the trust is reestablished, or you have to just move on. Take another route. So if you had a lot,
thank you.
Of course, have you had a lot of issues with just kind of not knowing what to do, and then you continue on with the relationship and you just sort of say, well, I don't really know what to do, so let's just see where we can go with this now?
Sweep it under the rug. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's about you stopping and just being a little stubborn and saying, I'm not moving forward until we resolve this. Because I think also this is affecting him in a way where he's feeling like he's just not sure what to do. And he needs things more clear. So it's not like you're doing anything wrong. I think you're doing what a lot of people do, but it just needs to be more detailed as to exactly what you need, just to express that, and then to act on it so that he understands you're serious and you're not just going to stick your head in the sand and be like, oh, okay, it's fine then, let's just move on with our day, because it really isn't okay with you, is it?
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions or?
No, I think that was great. I really appreciate the guidance.
Of course. You're so welcome. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great one. Stay safe. Thank you.
Too. So, just kind of going back to relationships and what the caller was talking about with what came through in her reading, or actually Spirit was telling me and saying what Spirit came through with on the reading, is that, first of all, there's the Eight of Swords, where this woman is feeling bound. I'm going to hold this up to the camera. So that's pretty descriptive of feeling bound, trapped, not really sure what to do, limited in your capability, blinded. There's a blindfold, so not really understanding, what the next step should be, having the wool put over your eyes, things hidden. And then we have the Eight of Swords, which I could see as her personal power needing to increase. Taming the lion, we have the strength card here with the woman who has the lion. She's kind of taming this hard, big personality where, she's having to navigate all these things in a very big way where, it's a difficult relationship dynamic. There have been some trust issues. There's been some, sometimes people are disrespectful in a relationship and they don't even know they're being disrespectful. They're just being themselves and they don't understand how they're coming across. They don't quite understand that when they do something that hurts somebody, how much that affects them. Sometimes people just don't understand what their behavior is actually doing to somebody else. And so it's really important that we become very good at communicating our needs and in detail, And sometimes people do need it spelled out. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the situation if they knew what to do to make you happy. I think most of the time people want to make their significant other happy. They want to do something that will make them, feel good with them. They want good relationship dynamics. And if they're not capable, then it's a good idea to really start to try to figure out what the next plan is going to be. You kind of have to take a different path if things aren't going to improve. And when I see the Five of Pentacles here, I'm going to just hold this up for viewers who have this video. For radio, this is a card that depicts these beggars that are kind of asking for money. They've got their hands outstretched, and there's this big pentacle above them that's kind of dropping money down into their hands. So I feel like that's her significant other kind of begging for information, kind of like begging for communication, needing, he's without what he needs. He needs more detailed communication about her needs and what that looks like. I mean, you could even go all the way down to, it would help me if you say this, because not everybody is a mind reader. We need to just express, this is how this is coming across to me. This is what I need now to heal this. And I need, whatever it is, transparency. This is what transparency is. Exactly. If that doesn't work, what else can we compromise to make it work? And then I got the Two of Swords, where there's two swords that are crossed over the moon, and there's a woman who has basically wings over her eyes. They're kind of beautiful angel wings, but again, it's showing the swords being the source of power, her own power, and her own ability to control what goes on in her life, not seeing the path in front of her because of all of the uncertainty, all of the not knowing, all of the her own power being taken from her. So that's, her not quite maybe knowing what exactly she needs. And so that's why I talked to her about doing the framework, even on a piece of paper, writing down, what do I need? What would make me feel safe with him? What would help me to really figure out exactly what to tell him. How do I tell him what I need? Sometimes it takes a little time working with a therapist, or I can even help people get clear on that kind of stuff if they do coaching with me. I do weekly, bi-weekly coaching with people where we can get into these things and look at your shadow self and see what you need from when you're in the past and you didn't get what you need, or there was a little bit of trauma or something like that. We can kind of get in there and look around and just kind of figure out, okay, this is what you need. How do you identify what you need? It's very important to communicate that to our significant other, because they are powerless and they're beggars to our needs if we don't tell them exactly what those needs are and how to initiate giving us what we need. So it's very, very important. And this goes all across the board, not just with an intimate relationship, but also friendship, co-workers, family members, everybody. I can even relate to this with my pet. I don't train my pet to know exactly how to navigate, like my dog. I need to even tell my dog exactly what I need from my dog, train them where to go, and, this is how you do this and that and the other. You don't get on the couch, otherwise you're going to be mad at them and they're not going to know what to do. You have to be clear in your communication. Lastly, I had the cups, and that she's going to be fine. It's the the Seven of Cups, and she's going to be fine. She's going to grow. She's going to gain a lot of experience from this relationship to navigate the future of her relationships. Even if she stays in this one, she'll have all these skills. So her cup will be full. But I have to close. I'm at the last part of my show. But I want to let you know that I'm here for you. I can do a reading for you. I can even do them on video or over the phone. You can always reach me on my website at AnnaOlsenIntuitive.com, ANNAOLSEN, intuitive.com. And you can always get a free reading with me here on the air once a week on Tuesdays. You can always try and call in, got the number on the screen, and I'd love to do a free reading for you as well so that other people can see what that's like. I go into all areas of your life. You can ask me any question. I also do coaching, and I do medium readings as well. So have a wonderful week. I will see you soon, and I just wish you the best love and light. I'm Anna Olsen here on A1R.